Hi and welcome to the Market Alert for Monday the 28th of September 2020. So the Dow suffers worst week since June as dollar surges most in 6 months. And having an impact on precious metals, of course, with the rally in the dollar. Other headlines, this is interesting as well because way back in 2011 I wrote a book called The Tipping Point about the removal of the gold standard from the US dollar, which has allowed them to print. And this is why we're in the mess we're in today. The trajectory of nearly every facet of our life or way of life has shifted massively to right it has. And I'm going to come to something interesting that I spotted over the weekend at the end of the video as well. The sell-off is overdone. The correction may not be, absolutely not, and there's no help coming. It appears that the Fed now has sort of run out of ammunition, and the point where, are they reaching the point of no return where they think it's utterly pointless because they've been throwing so much money at it, and it hasn't worked completely. Also here again, talking of central bankers, an extremely dangerous game. Central bankers extend and pretend has increased the risk of catastrophic collapse. Central bankers have been playing an extremely dangerous game of extend and pretend. We've seen this since 2008, and again, come to that in just a moment. To keep the markets afloat in a darkening economic picture requires ever larger bailouts and eventually the full socialisation, this is the interesting bit here, of the financial markets. So basically government owned. And this is what I'm talking about. German professor arrested after speaking at a We Do Not Consent rally in London. So why would I bring this up? Well, interestingly enough, there's over 1,000 doctors who have grave concerns about the mainstream propaganda and the government and the draconian measures. And being somebody that likes to look at both sides of the argument, I was interested in this, and it was by pure accident I came across this. And I'm going to come to this at the end of the video because you'll see why it piqued my interest. So let's have a look at the markets from Friday, and like I said, we'll come back to this at the end. So the German DAX on Friday was trading below the high and the close, and stuck between the BRN here and the DP. And prices opened up and sold off, went straight through the DP, and then you see the buying coming into the market. Prices trading back through the DP on increased volume and then reversing and failing to close above the 20 bar moving average, and then struggling with the DP level and the BRN, which you can see here. You've got both of these price bars trading below. Prices then reversed and moved lower, and you'll see the buying coming into the market here with this green buying bar here. So it looked like support was about to enter the market. Prices then traded back up towards the BRN, the 20 bar moving average and the DP, and again failed to close above. And then we had a potential buy signal that failed to fill, and then eventually you'll see the market move lower. But notice how the DP level held these prices and stopped them from moving higher. We then had a sell signal, and prices move lower, move the stop to break even. And I'm watching this area here, which I've drawn in from the left there, because that's where the buying came in that we saw earlier. So prices then trade down to this level, and again you'll see the market being bought at this time. So I took the profits off the table, but of course prices came back to the 20 bar moving average, which you can see there. They failed to close above and then moved and went through the BRN with selling there, as you can see in the red bar, trading all the way down to the S1, where you see some green bars coming in at this point. You can see it here. So once again at these levels. Also prices coming off the low in this bar with an increase in volume as well. And then prices eventually make their way back towards the BRN. You can see the price bars turning green there up until the 10 a.m. cutoff, which we see there. Now, for some unknown reason, I was missing on Friday afternoon. I had to do something else and recorded the 5-minute chart. So let's have a look at the 2-minute chart with the completion of Friday afternoon. So it was sideways, which we can see here, and then eventually prices broke. And again, notice this price bar here and volume, how again coming off the S2, price is a lot more volume than the previous bar, the range is less, prices close above the S2 and then move back to the upside as well. Right back to the 200 MA and Thursday's low there, where the market finds resistance. There was a potential buy signal at 56 minutes to 4, and had you taken this one, of course, you can see there it was a losing trade, which is a shame. Prices closed back below the 200 MA, which is a clue that it was likely to retest the lows to the left there, which we see. And then, of course, once that was done, they were able to move the market back above the 200 MA, although there was still some selling here as it attempted to move through. So let's have a look at the bigger picture, see where we are today. You can see that Friday the market tested the 89% retracement from this low to this high, and has then bounced off it as well. Thought there'd have been more volume actually than we've got here. But there isn't, but prices are moving higher on the overnight. So back to the 2-minute chart, and let's just drag over and see where we are in the 2-minute chart and where prices are in relation to the DP. They're currently above, they're above the close, they're above the 200 MA as well. We've got the high in sight for Friday. So we go back to the daily chart, we can see this now. This is exactly where we are. So what I'm going to do is to just mark up from this high to this low with the fib retracement tool, just to see where we are as far as prices on the upside are, where we can expect some resistance should we take out the high. Well, and coincidentally, the high ties in with the 38% retracement from this high to this low. So watch this level and watch the price of 719 if the market gets to this level. So have a look at the Dow, and this also you can see. I'm just going to remove these because they need to be redrawn from this high down to this low, and you can see that the Dow is already through the 38 level there and heading towards the 50 as prices start to move higher. And finally, in silver finding a bit of support, you can see them buying back in at the 21.80 sort of level on Thursday of last week. Friday sideways, still looking a bit weakish here. Certainly needs to get back above the 5-bar moving average and the fib retracement that we see there as well. So let's have a look at the news for this week. The criminal's out today, Lagarde. She's speaking at 2:45, just after the US market opens. She's also out again. They're wheeling them out these last 2 weeks, aren't they? So she's speaking again on Wednesday. And looking through here, what else have we got on Wednesday? We've got the ADP non-farm on Wednesday, the employment change, which also you'll see on Friday as well. So we got a bit of news this week. The other high impact news item is the ISM on Thursday. So the only news today is Lagarde at 2:45. That's someone you want to keep an eye on there. So going back to the Professor Dr Heiko Schoning, I think is how you pronounce it, and apologies if that's incorrect. A medical doctor who was present at the protests on Saturday in Trafalgar Square, And I was intrigued because obviously medical doctors, and there's over 1,000 now that have come forward and said, look, something's not right with all of this, what we're being told, etc. So I thought, well, I'll watch it, see what he's got to say as he was being interviewed. And what was absolutely fascinating, and I'm going to include the link in the description, but it's when we got to this bit.
It's a political thing. And if we look in the world what happened, in 2008 there was this big financial crash. Yeah? So the financial system that dominates the world crashed down. And it was obviously who are the perpetrators? It was the banks and the private owners. And of course they wanted to reset the system, make a great reset, but 2008 this crash was clear who were the perpetrators. And so what they did they fix it? No. They just put more money into their system. They tripled and doubled the amount of money, and they bought time up to 2020. And now they are planning openly. You can see it on worldeconomicforum.gov. They're planning the Great Reset, and it looks like that the virus is the one to blame for. Well, you just need to count 1 + 1 is 2. Use your common sense.
Thank you very much. Can you just remind us again who you are, and as for the audience? You can see already we've got 1.3 thousand watching live already.
Yes, well, again, my name is Heiko Schoning. I'm a medical doctor, and I'm one of the founders of the Extra-Parliamentary Inquiry Committee. So this is a committee that was established by citizens because the parliaments in Germany didn't do this in this severe situation, and we gathered all the facts together and we displayed them on our website. It's acu2020.org, as well in English and 9 other languages.
So there we go. So it's not just me that's been talking about this for years, but here we have a medical doctor and thousands of others who've actually spotted that the virus is being used as an excuse to reset the system. Now, what was interesting was that a few hours later, this man was actually arrested in Hyde Park and taken away and held without charge for 27 hours at a peaceful demonstration. Now, I can't say whether he was, what he said about the financial system and the reset was the reason for his arrest, but it's just very interesting that this very well-educated doctor, very smartly dressed, was arrested, and this seems to be the theme of his speech as well, from what I can gather. So it seems to have ruffled a few feathers that the financial problems that we have from the last 12 years are again coming to a boiling point, and the virus is being used as an excuse. But you've seen this in the market alert as well. I've spoken about the missing 4 trillion. I spent 12 hours looking for it. Trump said it was 6.2 trillion. The media said 2.2 trillion. The blow up in the repo market on September the 17th of last year. You just start joining the dots. But this was absolutely fascinating. Then, of course, he was released and made a statement. But guess what? YouTube removed it, because once again he spoke about the resetting of the financial system under the World Economic Forum, and you should have a look at that video if you want to be scared. Have a look at the reset, 'cause it's not just about resetting the financial system but also our lives as well. So yeah, an interesting one from the weekend. I have an utmost respect for this gentleman, and certainly we'll be looking at the material that he's written as a medical doctor, and also with regards to the fact that he and another 1,000 doctors are concerned about the financial side of things, which is completely nothing to do with their profession, but yet they've cottoned onto it. So good on them, that's what I say. And let's keep abreast of what he has to say, and hopefully he'll be left to have some sort of freedom of speech. But this is just absolutely shocking. If it doesn't meet with the mainstream narrative, then it's removed from YouTube. So this video could end up being removed as well, the fact that I've actually publicised this. But I think it's important to see that there are others out there who have the same opinion about wanting to reset the system. And again, going back to what we've seen here, because this is where it all stems back to. Okay, that will do it for this one. for today. Let's see if the Dow can manage any sort of assault to the upside. But as it says here as well, the sell-off is overdone. The correction may not be. Okay, with that, as ever, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.